What's good, everybody? Hope you guys are doing pretty good. I'm here at Brooklyn Bridge Park for this photo shoot I'm doing. This is one of my favorite places to do photography. I learned a lot of my photography here doing street photography and landscape over the years. What you're going to see here is a photo shoot I did of a couple. They had actually come from Paris. They saw my work about a year ago. I shot the young lady here, one of her friends I shot when she had come to New York last year. They saw the photo shoot and reached out to me. We talked over the course of the year and set this up for this particular day. So I was really excited for them to come. One of the things that did happen, though, a little bit of a mishap. At the very last minute, my assistant had an emergency they had to deal with. So I didn't have anyone to hold my light for me. I had to go by myself. I didn't have time to put together a sandbag or anything like that. And the way I travel in New York City, you know, sometimes it just seems like that's a bit hectic to have that kind of stuff. So I decided what I was going to do. I wanted to use light for sure. I shot, as you can see, with just my reflector as the modifier. No umbrella, no big softbox. I said that way the wind wouldn't knock the light over. It'd be less of a thing for me to worry about, and I can focus on them. So, you know, you see me making some adjustments here and, you know, helping them direct, and here's some of the shots. Now here, I move them over from the water over more towards the benches here, and just have them, you know, just kind of being into themselves, talking, you know. I always tell couples sometimes, act like I'm not here, be into yourself, and, you know, let them kind of be in their own thoughts, and I'm just kind of taking pictures of them. That's one of my favorite things to do with couples, and one of the things I like about shooting couples, because, you know, you can pose a little bit less. Not that you shouldn't pose, but you can work a little bit less sometimes and just let them be more free and just give them slight, you know, adjustments into what they're doing. And this couple here, this is one of my favorites for the year because they were so energetic, so into each other. They had just gotten engaged here, I believe, so they were really, you know, coming from Paris to New York, they were really happy, and that energy, they showed it during the photo shoot, so I had a good time. So little things that I did here, you know, just changing my angle, and you see I'm moving my light. When you're doing off-camera flash, the relationship between the camera and the light is always important. 90 degrees from the camera is going to give a more edgy look. 45 degrees gives a more flatter, more even look. I know kind of one of the biggest styles that they got going now is the flash right over the camera. It's just not something I like. So I usually kind of do 45 degrees. I could have shot them at a 90-degree angle with the flash, but that would have given them a more edgy look, and I kind of didn't want that for this because they're a couple. I wanted them to be bright and, you know, illuminated and, you know, not too many shadows. So I'm positioning the light to light the shadows of their face and also just kind of fill them out really good. Make sure that they're happy with the images. So we're almost finished with this set. You're gonna see, and you're gonna see some of the results. Now here, I always take my couples and I do separate shots of them as long as we have time. I always try to get some shots of each of them, you know, by themselves. So you see she has that dress. She wanted to get some motion. We both wanted to get some motion with the dress. Now sometimes this can take a while. To do pictures like this, when you have them flap the dress and you're doing it, and you see I have the light here, so the timing has to be kind of perfect. And you know, I'm kind of right here telling her what I want her to do when she's demonstrating, and I'm making sure my settings are set. And now we're starting to do our takes here. And one of the things about being in a city, in a public park, there's always going to be people walking by. This is a very popular spot. This is a really, nice, perfect day in the city, probably about 75, 80 degrees. So, the park was packed. The reason you see her holding here now is because actually there are people walking by, and I don't want them in the frame, obviously, and you can't tell them to hold up. You just you got to know. So I'm pausing a lot and having them go by. But you see, we're taking the shots here, and do it repeatedly to get takes. One of the things I did notice here that I did do at some point in this particular set, I saw how the light was hitting her face and realized that I don't really necessarily need flash, which is kind of a thing. When you're shooting, just because it's a harsh, clear, sunny day, if you into off-camera flash, you might think, oh, I have to have the softbox, I have to have the flash with me, cover the shadows. Sometimes, depending on how you position, you really don't need flash. And so I realized the way she was positioned here in some of these sets, when she's facing the way she's facing now, shadows are hitting her face when she's to the when her face is to the left side from my camera angle. But when I have her more towards the center to me and to the right, this light is hitting her face evenly. So when I was in those angles, I didn't use the flash. I said, okay, we could kind of do something else, and that allowed me to kind of get the shot I wanted, because I put my camera in rapid fire mode, 30 frames a second, well, 20 frames a second. I'm shooting with a Nikon Z9 here, by the way. So 20 frames a second, which is more than enough speed. And we did like that, and I was able to get that dress whip. So finally we finished that, and then I tell her, okay, let's get some more standard portraits. And I have her lean up there, and you see she was already posing, but she was just so good. Like I said, the energy the couple brought was incredible. So I give her a couple of things to do here, and now you see I'm starting to shoot. And here, this is all natural light, just so you guys know. The light is still up, but I'm not using it at this point because I'm seeing how the light is hitting her, and there's just no need to kind of pop the flash there. So always think about that, guys. When you go outside and you're doing these you're doing photo shoots, you probably have your light with you, but you don't always need it. And this is kind of like the perfect setting right now in a clear, sunny day. If you can't get them in shade, get their light even, exposed properly, and go to work, do the thing. So yeah, you're gonna see the results here shortly. But she really just was so free flowing. I couldn't stop shooting. She really knew how to move, and had her step in a little bit. You see some of the shade there, but it's still not hitting her face. Her face is not dappled with any shadows or anything. She's really even, and again, we were happy with the pictures. So get ready to take a look, coming up right now. So now, of course, you have to give the guy some love. You can't just shoot the lady. A lot of times when I'm shooting engagement and couples, we will tend to focus more on the woman, but you have to shoot the guy too. And the guy, we need love too. So, here, I had already prepped him, told him what I was looking for, for him to do, give him a little idea. And he was another one, very energetic. He knew how to move. He was, he brought his suave game, as you can see. And it was one of the easier shoots I've had, like I said, this year. But we have the beautiful background there, New York City. They were very happy because we had come to this location this is something they had kind of picked out, so it works for me because I've just done so many shoots here, a lot of photo shoots here at Dumbo. That's what they call the area here. But yeah, he's doing this thing. I didn't have to move him that much. And here's a couple of images from his set. So I always try to, you know, when I shoot couples, I will always try to do 2 different looks to give them some variety. So they had another outfit. We had talked about that they were going to bring a couple of outfits. And now here's a place here. Now, I will tell you, I did not recommend they go up on these rocks, but they were pretty excited about it. They saw these rocks that you see them up on, and they just look so good. I couldn't tell them no. And here's some shots here, and I actually love these. Here again, you know, like before, always shooting solo shots of each couple. And then lastly, him. I really like the way the red was for him. This really worked for him, this particular outfit that he had. So I ended up shooting him here for a while, honestly. I just the red really sang to me here. And like I said, I did not recommend him being on the rocks. People who know New York, and if you're gonna comment on it, no, they did that on their own. And I did work quicker than it might look here in the video to kind of get in and get out, because if you're at Brooklyn Bridge Park and you go up on these rocks, a lot of times security will make you get off, and it could shut a shoot down. But you know, like I said, I was efficient, try to be quick, get them up there and get them the hell out of there. But like I said, the red was really working with him, so I took a few pics. You can see that flash is pumping now. And there's another thing I want to say. If you are doing a shoot in this hard sunlight, a day like this where it's really bright outside, bring a powerful flash if you can. You know, a 200 watt strobe could work, yes, but if you got a 400 or a 600, the higher the watts, the better. It's really just that. I don't know what else to really say, but you need a powerful flash a lot of times, even if it's just for the recycle time, because I'm shooting here probably 1/1 or half power, and you can see the flash is popping pretty frequently. Like I said, I kind of want to get in and get out, but we're finished here, and here's some of the images from him. Guys, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll be posting more videos. Thanks for watching. Take care.